Hello boys and girls, my name is Mike Kelly from animatorsforum.com. I want to do this video. This isn't anything new, but and I've gone over a number of these things before, but I want to look at this and see if maybe I'm missing something. And this might help somebody else that's having trouble that's looked at my other tutorials. So this is the Daz, I don't know what you want to call it, Atlas Armor. They make it for both the men and the women. What I've done is I've just put it on a Gen 8 male character. That's all I've done here, and exported it as usual and brought it into Transformer. The only thing I did differently in Transformer is the weighting came in. They had the cloth layers. I don't know if you're familiar with how that goes in, but I did change the vest to be layer number 3, and then the sleeves to be layer 1. I don't know if that's necessary. You can always change it later in the conform section. You know, you go down to conform, and you do the where are my cloth layer settings, and then you can change these layers. So what I did was I had the vest, so this was layer 1, so I changed it to layer 3, and you can do that. You can change the layers around, which overlay which goes on top of what, but they didn't come in the way I thought they should. That's the only thing that was different. Okay, so now the guy said he was having breakthrough, and there is a bit of breakthrough for this for the shoulders here. However, this kind of breakthrough should always be, you should always hide the body mesh for this. We've talked about that before. So, you know, when you go to edit mesh and you go to face and ignore backspace, and for this guy, you can just clear out all the body mesh. You don't really need any of that because, you know, there really shouldn't be any mesh. He's wearing a uniform that just covers the whole guy. I mean, I suppose maybe he could have some flesh showing. That's, I guess, a possibility. But I think he's basically wearing there's an undershirt there. Yeah, there is an undershirt. So, no, I don't think. So anyway, so that should hold up no matter what the pose or position you stick him into. You know, before I did that, there was finger issues on the gloves. That often happens. But anyway, so that's not the only problem with this suit, though. One of the problems with this suit is that it's not weighted. And this often happens when I cut up a little bit too much of the mesh. Let me fix that before I go on because it's very annoying. Let's make sure we get all of this to show up because that's a little weird. All right. So you'll notice here that, and we've talked about this before too, that the weights on this vest are not correct. So the vest materials are stretching up to the sleeves. I want to go over that real quickly. Again, first of all, you always want to make sure what piece it is. So in this particular case, if I go to the vest and turn it on and off, you can see that that's definitely the vest. So with the vest selected, we go to skin weights, and then we go, what we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces and weight them to where they should go instead of to this arm up here. And if we went up to the arm, that's a left arm. So if we went up to the left arm somewhere, forearm maybe, it's usually on the twist ones that it has it. I don't actually see it there. It might be further up. But in any case, it's not weighted to where it should be, which is the chest area. So what we really want to do is go to somewhere up here. If we go to waist, you can see this is all weighted to the waist, spine, and see, it's not weighted high enough to this spine. So we go here, we go to the plus figure, this is the add weight, and then we go up to, you have to move around. I'm using the X keys to move, and then if you hit the Q key, then that puts you back in the paintbrush mode. So it's just a fast mode. So what I'm doing is I'm re-weighting it to the adding weight, I guess. And you always want to go to the very tip. There's that tip vertex that's what's controlling. So you want to get that. You know, if you try down here to weight it higher, it's not going to really help. You have to get up here to that tip and weight that vertex. And sometimes you have to use the X, you know, and move around a little bit and get it. But like I said, you've seen this before on other videos. And there's, you know, the other one here somewhere. And I'm using the X key again. Move around. Just helps you position yourself a little better. Q key to get back to the... come on. And sometimes it's tough. My mouse is also giving me issues now too. So, come on. All right, let's see if I can really get in here. There we go. All right, I'm sure this is really boring watching this. But again, maybe this is instructive because this will show you what you have to do. You have to kind of sneak up on it in order to find it. And we're getting there. Okay, now we got it. And okay. Almost. Almost. But so and then the subtract, I would subtract it if it was weighted to one of the other bones. In this particular case, it really wasn't weighted to the arm. It just wasn't weighted correctly to the chest. So that's it. All right. So, and I already did the same to the other side. And I think he also has that problem in the crotch, but I'm not going to go through that. But again, it's the same process. You'd find out where you need to adjust and then adjust it. And then you're all done in that. And then the last thing about this guy is, for some reason, the materials don't come in properly. That happens more and more these days. It's too bad. I think Character Creator broke something bringing in. It doesn't bring in the metallic and the roughness maps, and they do exist in here. And you know the best place to do that. I just want to emphasize that. You can do it here. You can go to each of these, and then you can add in the appropriate maps. If I bring them in on my, I have the folder for where they are. It's runtime textures for this guy, and that would be, let's say, the vest. So if I bring in the metallic over there, I can bring them in, but you'd have to do that for each one of these. There is no paint bucket for this. Hopefully that will be fixed sometime. So what we always say is you always want to go and export this. Just send it to iClone. And then in iClone, you can work back and forth. You can send the figures back and forth. And so if we go here and we go to somewhere, the vest. And so there's all that vest armor stuff. Well, now we can go ahead and take that vest, and then we can go ahead and just add it to all those pieces. So that's just the easy way of doing that. Oh, it's even better. I forgot. It's linked. That's right. So if I bring in the metallic, that's better. It's even better. So link texture. Now I put it in all those places. So theoretically, yeah, see, it brought it in. So it didn't get it in everywhere, but it got it in all the places that the linkage was existing. The same thing would go with the specular, is you can bring it in as a link texture, and then it fits all those places that are linked, which is every place that you wanted it. So you can see that made it a lot better in that particular case. So. And then you would just send it back you just go back to here and go back to Edit and Character Creator. That just sends it back in here, loads it back in. The other thing the guy said, though, is he said after he did all this that he still had trouble with breakthrough when he loaded on another character. One thing you should note is in the new Character Creator, they've already promised that when you hide the mesh for the avatar, that will be saved with the clothing, so that when you load in another clothing piece, it will hide that mesh automatically, which will be a really good thing to do. But otherwise, you should just be able to save this and just load it into any character, and we've shown you how to do that before. You go in here and you can just hit the plus button, just save this whole guy, call it Atlas Armor. And then again, if you just load in, well, coincidentally enough, we'll load in a character called Atlas to wear the Atlas armor. And there he is. He's actually still standing in that pose position, which is, I guess it's fine. I don't want to keep him in that pose because it looks silly. Let's find, where did I do? Pose. Let's just find a regular pose for him. Okay, and then we'll go into the clothing, and actually I didn't save it as clothing, did I? I did save it as character. I remember where I saved it, and Atlas, and we're going to replace the costume, and that should replace it. There it is. Okay. Now again, he's showing out here, and if we hide the basic mesh, then that won't have that issue. And that will be saved with the new one. So, and I see some other places where the armor is we have to go in and reweight that armor, like I said. But again, I don't see any problem with this that would be unusual. So hopefully that solves a few questions about this particular piece of work. Like I said, the new character creator should save that hiding of the mesh properly, so it'll already be hidden the next time around. Okay, folks, I guess I'll see you on the forums.